401 Anastasius I, Bishop of Rome 399-401 dies. In 1075 Edith of Wessex, wife of Edward the Confessor of England. In 1111 Al-Ghazali, Muslim philosopher, theologian, jurist and mystic, the revival of the religious sciences, dies at about 53, birth date uncertain. In 1327 Agnes of France, Duchess of Burgundy. In 1370 Urban V. Guillaume de Grimoard, first Avignon Pope 1362-70, dies. In 1442 Elisabeth II of Bohemia, Queen Consort of Hungary, dies at 33. In 1494 Matteo Maria Boiardo, Italian poet Orlando Innamorato, dies at about 54. In 1614 Melchior Bischoff, German composer, dies at 67. In 1737 James Louis Sobieski, Crown Prince of Poland, dies at 70. In 1741 Vitus Bering, Danish navigator and explorer, explored Bering Strait and Alaska coast, dies after being shipwrecked at 60. In 1749 Francesco Antonio Bonporti, Italian priest and composer, dies at 76. In 1751 Louise of Great Britain, wife of Frederick V of Denmark b. 1724. In 1798 Charles-Joseph Panckoucke, French publisher Moniteur Universel, dies at 62. In 1800 Georg Peter Weimar, German cantor and composer, dies at 66. In 1804 Mary Bright, British PM Rockingham, dies. In 1807 Friedrich Melchior, Baron von Grimm, German-born French-language journalist, Arctic critic, and diplomat, dies at 84. In 1810 Johann Heinrich Egli, Swiss violinist and composer, dies at 68. In 1813 James McGill, Scottish-Canadian businessman and philanthropist, dies at 69. In 1815 Michel Woldemar, French violinist and composer, dies at 65. In 1815 Robert Hudson, British tenor, organist and composer, dies at 83. In 1819 Thomas Fremantle, British naval officer, dies at 54. In 1823 Nicolas-Joseph Hüllmandel, Alsatian composer, dies at 67. English novelist Wuthering Heights, dies of tuberculosis at 30. In 1848 Frans Adam van der Duyn van Maasdam, Dutch governor South Holland, dies at 77. English landscape painter shipwreck, Rain, steam speed, dies of cholera at 76. In 1867 Jean-Georges Kastner, French composer, dies at 57. In 1878 Bayard Taylor, American poet, travel author and diplomat, dies at 53. In 1911 John Bigelow, American statesman and author, dies at 94. In 1914 Johann Friedrich von Schult, German Catholic lawyer, dies at 87. German psychiatrist and neuropathologist Alzheimer's disease, dies at 51. In 1925 Jos Ignacio Quint N, Puerto Rican composer El Coq Requiem pour Angel Missile N, dies at 44. In 1929 Lemon Henry Blind Lemon Jefferson, American blues singer and guitarist, dies at 36. In 1930 Johnny Douglas, English cricket all-rounder, captain 23 tests, 1x100, 45 wickets, Essex CCC and boxer Olympic gold middleweight 1908, dies by drowning at 48. In 1930, Duyn van Maasdam, Korean activist b. 1908. In 1933 George Jackson Churchward, British engineer who was chief mechanical engineer of the Great Western Railway 1902-22, struck and killed by a Paddington to Fishguard Express train at 76. In 1938 Stephen Warfield Gambrell, American politician, member of the U.S. House of Representatives from Maryland, dies at 65. In 1939 Eric Fogg, English composer The Golden Butterfly, conductor and broadcaster, dies under a train at 36. In 1939 Karl Wagenfeld, Low German writer Lucifer, Death Devil, dies at 70. In 1939 Willem Benoit, Flemish actor and director The White, dies at 57. In 1940 Tomás Carrasquilla, Colombian author Frutos de mi Tierra, dies at 82. In 1941, L.M. de Vater, Russian general, dies in battle. In 1944, Rudolf Kastat, German entrepreneur and owner of department store chain Kastat Warenhaus AG, dies at 88. In 1946, Paul Langevin, French physicist b. 1872. In 1951, Barton Yarbrough, American radio and screen actor one-man S Family, Dragnet, dies of a heart attack at 51. In 1952, Harry Makepeace, English cricket batsman, 4 tests, 1x100, HS 117, Lancashire CCC and soccer midfielder, 4 caps, FA Cup 1906, Everton, dies at 71. American physicist, photoelectric effect, Nobel 1923, dies at 85. In 1953, Rudolf Leonhard, writer, dies. English playwright I Remember Mama, I'm a Camera, and theatre director, dies at 56. In 1959, Walter Williams, American, claimed to be last survivor of the US Civil War, dies at 117, age disputed. In 1966, Aimwelk Thomas Trim, German writer, dies at 82. In 1967, Alfred Curtens, Belgian sculptor, dies at 78. In 1968, Norman Thomas, American socialist, pacifist and presidential candidate, 1928-48, dies at 84. In 1970, Mason High Breen, American ukulele player and early radio performer, the Sweethearts of the Air with Peter DeRose, dies at 79. In 1977, Nellie Taylor Ross, American educator, politician, first woman to serve as a governor of Wyoming, 1925-27, and administrative director of U.S. Mint, 1933-53, dies at 101. In 1982, Dwight MacDonald, American social critic b. 1906, American professor of engineering at Stanford University, known as the father of Silicon Valley, dies at 82. In 1982, Jean-Jacques Grunenwald, French organist and composer, dies at 71. In 1982, Lawrence Collingwood, English composer, dies at 95. In 1984, Joy Ridgerhoff, American missionary and founder of Gospel Recordings, dies at 81. In 1984, Mitchell Magny, French experimental music and film score composer, Gigot, Barbarella, and recording studio owner C.H. Toady H. Ruvel. Takes his own life at 54. In 1986, V.C. Andrews, American author, Flowers in the Attic, dies of breast cancer at 63. In 1989, Dorothea Stella Gibbons, English journalist and author, Cold Comfort Farm, dies at 87. In 1990, Basil Henson, AccuChange Partners, dies of stroke at 71. In 1990, Maxim Amfitatrov, Russian-Italian classical musician, known as the Cellists Caruso, dies at 83. In 1991, Anders Dirk Kopier, Dutch glass designer, the Gilder Glass, dies at 90. In 1991, Ernest K. Dan, American adventure novelist, dies at 81. In